Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Watchtower Examination. My name is Winston. In order to put this video into context, I begin with an excerpt from video 778. They use the actual scriptures in an inapplicable, inappropriate, and evil way. To avoid tough questions, they use Jesus' words not to throw your pearls to swine. They use Jesus' words to shake off the dust of your feet, totally ignoring what Jesus said prior to the instruction to shake off the dust from your feet. I give you all the instances in the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, and Luke where Jesus used those words. Matthew 10:14. And whosoever shall not receive you, nor hear your words, when you depart out of that house or city, shake off the dust of your feet. Mark 6:11. And whosoever shall not receive you, nor hear you, when you depart thence, shake off the dust under your feet for a testimony against them. Verily I say unto you, it shall be more tolerable for Sodom and Gomorrah in the days of judgment than for that city. Luke 9:5. And whosoever will not receive you, when you go out of that city, shake off the very dust from your feet for a testimony against them. If they will not receive you, if they refuse to listen to you, not if they invite you back and ask you some tough questions. A Jehovah's Witness, Kenneth King, believes I was wrong. Hear him. Okay, it's official. Winston is either stupid, blind, or possessed. No doubt he meant possessed by the devil. Never have I heard anyone twist the scriptures as he does. He is the definition of not being a deserving one. Kenneth King is rebutting the video in which I pointed out that Jehovah's Witnesses are playing the role of preacher and judge when Jesus simply calls us to preach, but to leave the judging to him. He had a problem with that video, and he starts off by pointing out that I am the perfect example of an undeserving one. How much more ironic a start can you have, Kenneth? Because you are now declaring that I am not deserving to be saved. I am not deserving to be preached to on account of what I said. I'm going to read the rest of his long comment and just give one response to it instead of interrupting after a few sentences. So this is the full text of the rest of his comment. He just quoted Matthew 10:14. Wherever anyone who do not listen to your words. Mark 6:11 talks about people who did not listen to you. Luke 9:5 talks about people who do not receive you, to shake the dust off your feet and move on to a deserving one. By his strange criticism, he would criticize the early apostles who were told to move on from people who did not listen to them. As he criticizes Jehovah's Witnesses preach to everyone. We do not skip over houses because someone gave us a hard time. We even go back to people who were difficult to us. The Word of God should have an effect on you, sure. People may have their own opinions about the Bible. And we not only welcome questions, but many people who are now Jehovah's Witnesses first talked to us to try to prove us wrong. They argued with us and debated our teachings, but God is looking for people who will worship Him in spirit and truth. And when the truth is presented to you, if that person continues to deny this truth, then there is nothing else that we can do but move on, as the Bible tells us to do. Sometimes people like Winston has no interest but to debate, even if he is proven wrong. It doesn't affect him. I think he meant affect him. It doesn't affect him. I have nothing more in my briefcase but my Bible and Bible aids. I can't perform a miracle for that person. The truth has transforming power. It changed me. I thought all Jehovah's Witnesses were weird until they hit me in the face with some truths from the Bible that made perfect sense. I couldn't deny it. I was a deserving one. I come onto this channel to learn what the enemy is saying about us. I teach other Jehovah's Witnesses what to say and how to come back at them and what questions to ask. But I have found that some people have already made up their minds no matter what scriptures I show them. They just assume that Jehovah's Witnesses are a cult and they don't even consider the scriptures I show them, even though they cannot refute them. They either just call me a cult or try to bring up something that a Jehovah's Witness did 100 years ago. These are the type of people that Jesus says are not deserving. And Winston just straight up lied when he said that Jesus said not to seek out deserving ones. This is what the whole shake the dust off your feet is all about. This guy is a total loser when it comes to explaining the Bible. Now that was a mouthful. And what I'm going to do my best to do is to try and see where Kenneth is coming from. And so I'm going to begin with his last point. What he's saying is that Jesus did not specifically say, explicitly say, go out and search for deserving ones. But what is to be deduced from Jesus' words is that you must really be looking for deserving ones. Because if you go to people and you are presenting to them the truth and they will not listen to you, they are just debating you, and no matter what evidence you present to them, they never accept the truth that you should move on. And obviously what you're moving on to do is to find deserving ones. So they are determining, therefore, that those persons who do not listen to them, who are debating them, who are rejecting the truth that they are presenting, that they should walk away from those persons because those persons do not deserve the truth. And so they should go in search of deserving ones. Sounds reasonable, doesn't it? If I go presenting to you the truth, and I present the scriptures to prove the truth, and you will not hear it, I should move on. Let's give that to Kenneth. Let's be reasonable and say, okay, fine. That would be a reasonable deduction. He also says that Jehovah's Witnesses go back to people who give them a difficult time. And I'm going to assume that Kenneth and maybe the Jehovah's Witnesses in Kenneth's congregation does that. And so it would seem strange to him that we are saying that about Jehovah's Witnesses when he is fully aware of the opposite. And so what I'm going to do, therefore, Kenneth, is commend you. And I will even go farther, since even though you did not say it, let me assume that the Jehovah's Witnesses in your congregation does that. Let me tell you something, Kenneth. that makes you and your congregation the exception. I have been encountering Jehovah's Witnesses for years. A Jehovah's Witness comes to me. I ask them some questions that they can't answer. They tell me that they will not give me an answer that they are not sure of. That they will go back, look into what I said, and come back to me. They never do. That's right. I was chased out of my house. I have to come on the outside to shoot. Ladies and gentlemen, I am a proud, patriotic Jamaican. I love my country with a passion. Love it. I believe that what is one of the loveliest places in the world you can live. Even though I've never traveled. I just love this country, but there's one thing about my country that I can't stand, and it's the noise culture. Everybody believes, well, not everybody, but people believe that they must play their music loud. They must blast it. They want to enjoy some music so you can't enjoy peace and quiet inside your space. It is just annoying. And for those of you who are familiar with the channel, you would have seen that I began shooting not in the normal room. I am actually trying to soundproof another room in my apartment. And it's a work in progress. It is not yet completed. So when I got ready to shoot the video this morning, music started playing down the road. In the room that I'm trying to soundproof, it wasn't bad. I doubt you could hear it. I haven't edited the video yet, but I doubt you would have heard it because the condenser mic does a pretty good job cutting out background noise. But by the time I got to where I got in that video, noise on the outside, someone decided to cut the bushes on the outside with a mower, and it was very loud. So I have to come here. And the condenser mic is still at work. But when I got to the normal spot, if you're familiar with the channel, there's an outside spot that I do a lot of videos from. There's loud music coming from two separate locations. If the mic is not doing an effective job as it normally does, well, I mean, the sound could just be too much for it. You probably will. Where I am now, I suspect that when I go home and I'm editing, I will not hear it because I can hear it, but the condenser microphone recorder I have does a good job of cutting out background noise. But it can only cut out so much and no more. Anyhow, I've vented. Let's resume. I was saying that maybe in Kenneth King's little JW world, they have the right attitude. He demonstrated what would be the right attitude. Someone is debating you, you present information, you present as much as you can, you present the truth as much as you can, and even when you're providing biblical evidence, people are rejecting it. Move on. But as I was saying, that is not my reality, Kenneth, and there are many other persons who will tell you. When you watched the video, my brother, did you also read the comments? Because if you read the comments, you would have seen many other persons talking about how Jehovah's Witnesses flee. I have invited Jehovah's Witness after Jehovah's Witness after Jehovah's Witness back to my home. And there are very few, very, very very few Jehovah's Witnesses that I have seen twice. I have gone to jw.org and requested a Bible study. Until now, that Bible study has not been conducted. Do you know why, Kenneth King? Because Jehovah's Witnesses in my community know me. They know that this is a gentleman who knows about the Watchtower. And so, I can't tell you what they have decided in their private meeting, but I can tell you it is so funny because I used to live at my parents' home and then I moved to another apartment next door. And so they would not come by me when I was by my father because they knew me. They would go to every house in the community except mine because they know me. And so I moved next door and I smiled to myself when Jehovah's Witnesses came a-calling. And when I opened the door, "Oh, it's you." Yes, it was me. Had they known that I moved next door, they would not have called at that house. And since then, Jehovah's Witnesses have come into the community. They go to other homes. They do not come to mine. Even though I have neighbors upstairs, they do not run the risk of calling on my neighbors because they run the risk of me coming out. And when I see them, the last ones who came out, as I told you, I mentioned it, that a couple came to my door and I asked them some questions about the faithful and discreet slave. I have never seen them again. So I don't know what is going on in Kenneth King's world. But let me tell you, Kenneth King, your world is not the typical Jehovah's Witness world. But even so, I did not twist the scriptures. I repeated exactly what Jesus said. I pointed out what Jesus said. If they will not listen to you, leave them. And the case that you presented, where if you are presenting to them the truth, and with all the evidence from the scriptures that you provide, they still reject the truth, then of course, move on. But that now opens up a can of worms for you, Kenneth. Are you presenting the truth? You speak about presenting the truth. I challenge you, Kenneth King. I challenge you publicly, Kenneth King, to come here, present to us the scriptures that support the appointment of the faithful and discreet slave in 1919. I am waiting with bated breath. Come here, Kenneth King, and show us the biblical proof that the righteous and the unrighteous will be resurrected together. Come here, Kenneth King, and provide us with the biblical proof that during the 1,000 years, people will be resurrected, unrighteous people will be resurrected, and Jehovah's Witnesses will be teaching them about Jehovah. Come here, Kenneth King, and give us the biblical proof for that. I challenge you, Kenneth King, to show me biblical proof that if someone questions the governing body, they should be disfellowshipped and shunned. Show me that in the Bible. Show me the biblical proof, Kenneth King, for holding a private judicial meeting with someone that you deem an offender, where the person has no one to support them, where the meeting is private, and where the matter is not told to the church. Show me that from the scriptures, Kenneth King. Show me from the scriptures, Kenneth, if you can, that God has commanded that you should let your child die instead of taking a blood transfusion. Show me that in the scriptures. Show me in the scriptures, Kenneth King, that it is wrong to join the army. Show that to me. Show me in the scriptures that it is wrong to vote. Can you do that? Can you do that? Those are things that you currently teach, Kenneth. Things that you currently teach that you cannot establish from the scriptures. What about your past? Your past that you do not want people to uncover. In the next video, I will be showing you and the general viewing public that the Watchtower religion is a beautiful shell. The question is, what happens when you break that shell? When you're about... I'll leave it for the next video. Kenneth, I have not heard you respond to this, and I'm going to ask you again. Is Gerrit Lush, because this is foundation, this is a fundamental doctrine of the Watchtower religion. Did Gerrit Lush speak the truth when he said that you can have confidence in the spiritual food that the governing body is providing because it comes directly from God? I have not seen you respond to this. I have seen you attacking me, calling me puppet of Satan, calling me possessed or possessed by the devil, but I have not yet seen a response to this. Can you move away from attacking the messenger? Can you move away from attacking me? You said you came here to see what the enemy is saying about Jehovah's people so that you can advise Jehovah's Witnesses how to respond. I have raised an issue. The issue is the governing body claims that they were appointed by Jesus in 1919 when not one of them was alive in 1919. Up to 2013, all the anointed were the faithful and discreet slave. But as of 2013, the faithful and discreet slave is just the governing body. Show me the biblical evidence for that. And the faithful and discreet slave, the governing body, is insisting that they get their information directly from Jesus, who got it directly from Jehovah to give to them. And that is the reason you can have full confidence in the information that they provided. Show me that from the scriptures. With that, since you believe that, you have not yet responded. Please, can you respond or show Jehovah's Witnesses how to respond to something being obvious in the scriptures, but the governing body teaches you something contrary to the obvious, teaching it to you as the truth, and then come to tell you that it was obvious, but the reason they did not recognize it is that it was not Jehovah's time to recognize it. I have not heard a beep out of Kenneth King or James Asher or any Jehovah's Witness who comes here defending that. Can you do that? This man who is possessed by the devil is asking you a question. Can you answer? Is the man who is possessed by the devil making more sense than you, Kenneth King? Dear Jehovah's Witnesses, I challenge any one of you. My email address, watchtowerexamination@gmail.com. Private message me, and I give you my solemn word that your email, the content of your emails, will not be shared with the general public. Email me and share with me from the Bible the proofs for the things that I asked in this video. Because, or if you cannot do that, I will be demonstrating in the next video that the Watchtower religion is nothing but a beautiful, attractive shell. But inside that shell, rot, mess, spiritual confusion, doctrinal falsehoods, wickedness, cruelty, mind control, evil. Join me in the next video. If you appreciate the content that is being provided, I invite you to take a moment to click the like button. It is not merely suggesting that you like the video, but it helps the channel because YouTube shows the videos to more persons the more likes a video gets. Thanks for joining. Have yourselves a wonderful day.
May the grace of the Lord Jesus Christ and the love of God and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with you all.